Okay, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? This is October 8th, 2025. We're going to be dealing with the difference of two squares equations and perfect squares equations, right? So let's go and get them going. Difference of two squares equations, as you're seeing here, and you have to remember what we would have done with the expressions. Now we're dealing with the equations. In other words, we're going to go through those preliminaries and develop into solving these equations. This is going to be x squared minus 1 squared equal to 0. As a start. So in other words, with the difference of two squares, you can have what? Pair of parentheses. You can have, for the difference of two squares, you're going to have in the first pair of parentheses x plus 1 and then x minus 1. And from there, we're going to bring in the words either or. So it's either x plus 1 equal to 0. That sounds familiar. Or x minus 1 equal to 0. Right? Please note that. From there, you're going to go and undo. So you're going to have undo this one here, you get a negative 1. And undo this negative 1, you get a positive 1. From there, we can get to the conclusion of the matter that in the first case, x is negative 1 or x is positive 1. And this is how you solve the difference of two squares equations. Please note that when the coefficient of x squared is 1. What about when it is more than 1? Same concept. I'm going to set it up so that you can see what happens. You're going to have a set of parentheses. And what's going to go in here? 9x. Because 9x all squared is 81 x squared. And 9 is 3 squared. Right? And from there, you're going to have a pair of parentheses like what we did just now. Set them up. We're going to have 9x. It doesn't matter if you put the plus or the minus first. 9x plus 3, 9x times 9x minus 3. So it's 9x minus 3 times 9x plus 3. Difference of two squares. And from there, we're going to use the word either or. So we're going to have either 9x minus 3 equal to 0 or 9x plus 3 equal to 0. And from there, we're going to go through the process of undoing. Undo negative 3, we're going to get plus 3. Undo positive 3, we're going to get negative 3. These two are going to go. These two are going to go. So we now have what? 9x equal to what? 9x equal to 3. 9x equal to negative 3. And from there, we're going to go and undo again. So we're going to divide both sides by 9. Divide it by 9 as well. So in other words, our first x value is, and you reduce it, you're going to get a third. And our second x value, when you reduce it, you're going to get negative a third. Please note that. And this is how this one had to be done. So if you notice carefully, the first one yield whole number results and the second one yield fraction result, right? Good. And that's for the difference of two squares. Let's go for the perfect squares. Now I hope you remember your patterns. So in other words, what's going to happen here, we're going to remember the outline, something square plus 2 times something plus something square equal to 0. So in other words, we're going to find out what is 25y squared. That is really what? 5y all squared. And what's in here goes in here. And 9 is really what? 3 squared. Whatever is in here goes in here. So if you multiply 2 times 5y times 3, you're going to get back to our y. Once you get back to our y, you're good to go. From there, we're going to merge these two square terms together, so we're going to get what? 5y, or whatever sign is on the middle term, that's the sign we're going to be putting, right? Yes, I'm going to highlight that again. What sign do we have here? A positive on the middle term, so that goes in the middle here. And from there, we're going to go and do the necessaries. We're going to have transpose square, which is going to become square root. So we're going to have what? 5y plus 3 equals to the square root of 0. And the square root of 0 is 0. And from there, we're going to go and solve that. So let's go and try it. First, I'm going to go and undo that plus 3. It is subtracting 3 from both sides. And these two 3's are gone. So we're going to have it what? 5y equals to negative 3. I'm going to try to put that aside here because I need some space. I'm going to move from here. Yep. And from there, you have 5y equal to negative 3. You're going to divide both sides by what is with y. That's the 5. So in other words, y is equal to what? Y is equal to negative 3/5. So if you notice carefully, when you solve the difference of two squares, it only yields one result. Unlike, the perfect squares. When you solve perfect squares equations, it boils down to one result. Unlike the difference of two squares, that gives you two results. Let's go and try this next perfect squares equation. And so the structure again, so we're going to have what? Something squared minus 2 times something times something plus something squared equal to 0. So if you compare these two patterns, they're alike, right? All those two structures. Z squared is really z squared, or whatever you have in here, you put in here, that's a z and that's a z. 1 is really 1 squared, so whatever you have in here, put it here. If you multiply negative 2 times z times 1, you're going to get negative 2z. So we're going to track the z, this is my z. So I like to put a stroke through it. And from there, we're going to go and merge our square terms. So we have a z here, we have a 1 here, and the sign in the middle is that's what's going to go in parentheses. Please note. And from there, we're going to go and solve this, just like the previous one. So let's go try that. So we're going to have that z minus 1 equal to the square root of, that's my square root sign. So z minus 1 is equal to what? 0. From there, what next we're going to do? We're going to isolate z by adding 1 to both sides because of the negative 1. So in other words, we're going to have these two go. And z is equal to what? 1. So please note what has happened here. So this is how basically you solve different two squares equations and perfect squares equations. In our next session, we could always look at the graphs for the difference of two squares, perfect squares, and the others. So this is basically what I have to do. I would want to advise you to make sure you visit back the video, follow all that was done, and of course make sure you check me out on my YouTube channel. Type in TG Math Nation, and you're going to find me there. You're going to see other concepts there. Thank you very much. God bless you and have a great day. See you in my next session. Goodbye.